exposure is not a sign of yes, it might help you with social it's not a sign of natural aptitude and all of that. But it is interesting how people who came, someone wrote a book and say, if you went to China, you will have very little respect for many retailers in South Africa, because all they did was to go to a place, see how things work, and bring that model here. Yeah, we can say there's different forms of intelligence, social intelligence. Now, the more controversial question, which actually touches on some of the conversation you've had, is Rob Hersov competent? Is he intelligent? Is he competent?
Do you need that to be answered?
Yeah.
Before I answer it, can we do the intelligence definition? Because clearly our definitions are not the same. You said the man's not intelligent. Debza said he couldn't call. He doesn't have enough
No,
info.
I didn't say he's not intelligent.
You said you can't tell. Sorry.
I'm saying that based on what we've been told, we can't make assumptions about the person's intelligence.
You guys don't want to talk now. I can say and then answer.
No, I mean, I'm good. I mean, I've got the mic, I'm fine.
No, I'm saying that your definition of intelligence.
Yeah, what is it?
I think this is important for a lot of us because small things like your grapple of English, your education qualification, how much money you have. So I just wanted to ask in the riddle that was given.
The definition of intelligence.
What is your definition of intelligence? So that if someone says, here's a scenario, and you're like, if I don't see these things, then I cannot conclude.
For me, simplest form, outside of the riddle as well, simplest form of defining intelligence is the ability to solve something at a quick and faster pace to progress society.
The ability to solve problems.
Yeah, for me, that is intelligence.
So a person who can solve problems is smart. A person who can solve problems faster than others is smarter than others.
Yeah, for me, that's how I define intelligence. The ability to solve an issue. We've got a problem here. There's a fire here. How do we take it out? Or we need to slaughter a cow. Who has to do it? Because people show intelligence in different forms. There's that uncle that is always drunk in the family. Poop drunk. He's got nothing. Then comes Easter weekend or Christmas. Like, okay, all the boys from Josie, the so-called intelligent ones. Like, okay, it's time to slaughter now. Now he shows intelligence in that scenario. In that scenario, for me, he's intelligent in that one aspect. So for me, there's a problem. Who can solve the problem now to progress whatever the issue is we're facing now? So for me, it's solving issues, problems quicker.
Caesar,
intelligence.
Your definition here.
I just think similar to Debza.
Same as Debza.
If you can solve something.
Yeah.
In the world that you live in.
Yes.
For me, that's intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I'm gonna try and answer your question. Of course, I'm gonna be giving you my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And we're using a human being's name, a real living person.
Yeah.
My definition of intelligence is very similar to Debza no Sizwe in the sense of people that can solve problems and people that can solve problems fast and people that can solve bigger problems become more smarter than others. In the example that you used, I'd like to think Kumashaya is not the only person from Joburg.
Yeah.
I'd like to think there's a lot of them. But he happens to be the guy that comes with the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Many Europeans would travel to China and India for spices and silk. Some would be curious to figure out how they power cannons, how they have fireworks, and they would be like, Pinjam, the chicken licking store in South Africa is one of them. George Sombonos would travel to America every year. His father would give him money to travel as a youngster. He would go out of his way to find something to bring back.
Yeah.
Millions of people travel to America every year. They don't come back with anything.
Yeah.
So I have to assume that this guy is different from those that were exposed just like him.
Yeah.
Many white people benefited during apartheid, colonialism. Many are poor today.
Yeah.
Many black people are dealing with the same affirmative action, BEE, but are struggling. So we have to ask as well that in your exposure, what are you picking up and applying?
Yeah.
Which is why I would still give this guy some level of intelligence for his ability to do that.
Yeah.
Whether there was a problem that he solved, whether he was using a tool that was borrowed, is up for debate. But for the fact that he could do something that many others, for whatever reason, could not do, I think makes him slightly at an advantage. So I could argue that even the settlers in the Cape, the Portuguese had come here before, many others would come, but Abu van Riebeeck would decide to settle and be like, look, everyone keeps double-upping here, but no one has set up an Ultra City.
Yeah.
No one has set up a Bad style. We want to set that up.
Yeah.
And we're going to speak with the locals and set up and negotiate. And in that, we'll also see if we can learn things from them. Because even our natural intelligence, whether it's herbs, knowing our history, we also learn it from exposure.
Yeah.
And then we get called smart because I went to go and study
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in that context, or no, not with that context, I think I'll park my answer there. Your question was, is Rob Hersov competent?
Is he intelligent? Is he competent?
You use them interchangeably?
No. You can.
Two separate questions.
I would like you to choose whichever one you want to. And then after that, I'll tell you why I'm asking.
No problem.
It's tied to the Mashaya story.
No problem.
Not that I'm saying he's Mashaya, but I'm just saying there's a good reason.
Before you hit the story you're speaking about, the Chigilican story, because I know that story. He goes to, I think, the USA.
Yeah.
Tells the guy, can I buy this spice for $1,000? And the guy's left with 200. He's like, man, okay. Then he gives him like a quarter of the spice. Then he comes back to SA. Then he figures out the whole spice. Same with Koos Becker. He was traveling, I think, to the UK and Australia before, DSTV. Mnet.
Yeah. Because they set up Mnet.
Yeah, because then he realized that, okay, going to 94, there's going to be a lot of middle-class people. So this thing of having Amadecoder could be a thing. He also copied it from Australia. I think Australia, UK. He comes back and he then implements this thing. So it's crazy when you speak about that. I was watching a video about in school, they don't allow you to copy.
Yes.
But in the real world, they tell you copy-paste.
Yeah,
Copying and getting other people to do your homework in the real world is what actually gives an advantage.
Exactly.
But at school, it's completely frowned upon.
Which doesn't make sense. Because most businesses that are in South Africa, actually anywhere, we copy them from somewhere. Whether it's the Yoko stories from somewhere. So copy-pasting in the real world is a big thing.
That's why we argue sometimes that school almost is counter being productive and being successful in the real world. Because almost everything you taught at school is counterintuitive to like being successful.
Yeah.
Which also kind of also explains why successful people are weird in the way they move, because they had to break either rules and laws or their own moral codes to get to their levels of success.
Yeah.
Using Rob Hersov as an example is dangerous for me because I know him personally.
Yeah.
But I will speak of people like him because he's not alone in terms of being born into privilege.
Yeah.
From families that built wealth during colonialism or apartheid, or maybe we can even use BEE as an example. Rob Hersov is, I don't know if I'd use Utopi as an example. Maybe. Or maybe Utopi's child. Because you've got Patrice Motsepe, you've got his father Augustine, who, for whatever reason, you can use whatever reason, BEE, being friends with rich white people, they get some level of advantage.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of now, how do you exploit this? Do you add any value to it that we can actually quantify that Johann Rupert inherited Rembrandt, turned it into Remkro, added Richmond. We can see the value add.
Yes.
So now we'd have to quantify people like Rob, like Utopi,
Yeah.
with Sundowns. I don't know if his father involves him in any other businesses. Have you added any value to what your grandfather, your father have done?
Yeah.
Have you taken away?
Yeah.
And to where he is today, from a business perspective, I cannot see it.
Yeah.
Many other people cannot see it. That this guy inherited Anglophile Industries, AVI, which was what the Hersovs inherited when they split Anglophile mining and the industries part.
Yeah.
He's gone on to create a lot of relationships that I don't know if his family had.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch being one of them. He also worked for Johann Rupert at some point.
Yeah.
And he created a lot of relationships, I think, in Europe. Maybe in America as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that gets quantified as value add, if those are unique to him.
Yeah.
And what he's been able to achieve with those.
Yeah.
Then the thing becomes, is there anything unique that he's brought in?
Yeah.